When should you use $ for absolute cell references in baseball spreadsheets? Imagine you're tracking player stats across multiple seasons and want to compare their batting averages. You might wonder when to lock in certain values so they stay constant no matter where you copy your formulas. That's where the $ for absolute cell references comes into play. In spreadsheets used for baseball analysis, understanding this tool can save you time and prevent errors. Let's start with the basics. A cell reference like A1 is relative, meaning if you copy the formula to another cell, the reference adjusts based on its new position. For example, copying is equal to A1 from cell B1 to B2 changes it to is equal to A2. But sometimes, you want the reference to stay fixed. That's when you add the $ before the column letter or row number. Writing A on $ makes the reference absolute, so it never changes when you copy the formula. If you want to lock just the column or row, you can use mixed references like A1 or A on $. In baseball spreadsheets, absolute references are especially useful when you need to keep a specific value constant across many calculations. For example, if you have a league average batting average in cell F1, and you want to calculate each player's batting average ratio against this league average, you should use phone $ in your formula. This way, no matter where you copy the formula, it always refers back to that same league average cell. Another common scenario involves counting how many players have a certain position. Suppose your position data is in column E starting from E2. To count how many times a position appears from the top of your list to the current row, you might write a formula like is equal to countif, etwo $, E5, E5. The etwo $ part is absolute, so the starting point stays fixed at E2, but the end E5 adjusts as you copy the formula down. This mixed reference helps you expand your range while keeping the starting point constant. Absolute references are also key when calculating percentages or ratios that relying on a fixed denominator. If the total team runs are in cell G1 and you want to find each player's contribution, your formula should include $. This ensures every calculation uses the same total, even as you copy it down the list. Use absolute references whenever your formula needs to point to a specific and changing cell. This is especially true for fixed values like league averages, team totals, or thresholds. They act as constants in your calculations, making your data more reliable. Avoid absolute references when your formula should change based on its position. For example, when calculating individual player stats, the formula should refer to each player's specific data row. Using relative references in these cases allows the formulas to adapt automatically. Remember, the key terms are relative reference, absolute reference, and mixed reference. Relative adjusts when copied, absolute stays fixed, and mixed locks either the column or the row. In practice, when ranking players or calculating ratios, think about whether the value you're referencing should stay the same or change as you copy formulas. For example, if you're counting how many players share the same position, lock the start of your range with an absolute reference and let the end expand with each row. A quick tip is to press the F for key while editing a formula to toggle between different reference types. It's a handy shortcut to quickly set your references correctly. In baseball analysis, using absolute cell references properly helps automate your calculations, reduce mistakes, and make your spreadsheets more dynamic. Whether you're comparing players across seasons or calculating team averages, knowing when to lock in certain cells makes your work more precise and efficient.